What's going on, y'all? Machiavelli Mills TV. Oftentimes on this channel, I've discussed a few times my favorite players growing up. Who were the players that I really, really loved to watch, and the players that I really, really took to heavily. And a player that is often omitted from my list is the legendary Kobe Bean Bryant. Like anybody that knows me knows. Like I always respected Kobe's game, but he was never one of my favorite players. I never gravitated to Kobe like a lot of other people did. And there are several reasons for that. Oftentimes I think people gravitate to the players that have the personality traits that they exhibit. Okay? So I loved Allen Iverson. Allen Iverson was a person who was of the common man, the everyday dude. I went to school and walked to the corner store and went to the park to hoop and saw dudes that was like Allen Iverson. Cornrows, tattoos, black. He was the embodiment of black culture. Do-rags, the white t-shirts, baggy shorts, you know what I mean? The wristband, the headband. Like, he embodied black culture, black inner city culture, He seemed to be like a fun-loving guy. A person that was really endearing. A person that people loved to be around. And you really had not many bad stories about Allen Iverson as far as like interacting with teammates, etc. Right? Another player I really loved, Vince Carter. A guy many people described as like one of the nicest people in the world. Super fun to be around. Just a real cool guy. Another one of my favorite players growing up, Shaquille O'Neal, gregarious personality, fun-loving, so much so that he was one of the most marketable athletes during the 90s and the early 2000s. Shaq was everywhere because of his personality. Super fun-loving, and just a jolly giant type of guy who was, people just really had fun. He was a fun guy. People were like, not the Kawhi Leonard, I'm a fun guy, whatever, right? Then you had LeBron James, a guy who, again, fun-loving to be around for the most part. You saw the different things he did with teammates, the taking teammates out to dinners and hanging out with the team as a team unit. The team would have team celebrations. He would have handshakes for everybody. The pregame celebrations and stuff he would do with his teammates. You could see that people really liked being around him, and he was really like endearing to other people. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that LeBron James was the only child growing up. He had no siblings, so his teammates were like siblings, and he treated them as such, right? On the other hand, you have like Kobe Bryant. Kobe, like Michael Jordan, was very standoffish to people. He was not an endearing person at all. In fact, towards Kobe, Kobe started to become endearing when he realized his window for championship winning was closed. When he realized he was done with his career, was coming to an end, he started to try to change the narrative around his personality. But he was not. And when I say this, I don't mean no disrespect, but I'm just keeping it real. Y'all, even Kobe Bryant's biggest fans know this. Kobe was an asshole a lot. Very much so, just like Michael Jordan, an asshole. They talked to teammates any type of way. Michael Jordan punching on Steve Kerr. Telling Horace Grant because he didn't play well, he didn't deserve to eat, and telling the stewardess not to give Horace Grant no food, not to give him any food because he didn't play well enough to get a meal. You had Kobe Bean Bryant telling Smush Parker he didn't have enough accolades under his belt to have a conversation with him, his starting point guard, a young kid. You had Kobe on camera berating teammates when the cameras was rolling and it was filming in practice. You had him talking down to Kwame Brown them. It's just his personality. You could tell he was very socially aloof. Like he was just a person who would display sociopathic behavior to me at times. What is a sociopath? A person who has no regard for a person's feelings. No regard for how they communicate with a person. No regard for how things can come across to a person when they're communicating to them. Now, at some point in life, sometimes you got to say F people feelings. But if you're going to be a teammate with a person, You got to communicate with people in different ways. Even he displayed it to a kid one time when he was coaching after his career was done. I always bring this up. Coaching a group of girls on Gigi's team. I believe it was Gigi's team. One of the girls couldn't make the game, and you got the Black Mamba like really antagonizing the girl because she went to a dance recital instead of coming to the game. Kobe put it up. Other people felt like they had more important things to do today than play with us, or something along the lines of that. And when people called Bean out on that, he started to act like we were tripping and gaslit us into believing like, oh no, I would never do that. I had a dance recital. Here's a video of my dance recital. But Kobe, you was calling out that little bitty girl who had to have been like 10 years old at the time for not coming to a game and going to a dance recital instead, right? So when I say that, he had those type of personality traits. So I'm not an asshole of a person. I've never been that, right? And I always was able to garner respect wherever I went, but I didn't have to be an asshole to do it. Now, I had to check folks. to let them know it's not that type of time. It's not that type of party. You try to check my temperature, I'm gonna let you know it's 108 temperature over here if you want to go there to that level. But I'm not an a-hole. That's not my personality. I was always endearing to people. You know what I'm saying? The little shorties that was around me, I embraced them. Similar to like a LeBron James, right? I embraced the younger dudes around LeBron really love him. You can hear the stories from his teammates. He really took them in. Had Tristan Thompson, I think I remember at one point, was living in Bron house for a little minute. Taking Tristan everywhere with him. You know what I mean? So, yeah, like, you had the Boobie Gibsons and all the younger players around him or whatever. No, wait, I don't know. Boobie might have been close to LeBron age. He was at Texas. I don't know. Boobie might have been close to LeBron age. I'm tripping. But, like, yeah, like the younger guys, he's ingratiating to people. I was always a person that was ingratiating to other people. Like a Allen Iverson, you know what I mean? Like a Shaquille O'Neal. Now, Shaq could be an a-hole when you question his championships or try to talk to him about championships. He's very sensitive, very. And when he's sensitive, he gets very petty when he gets sensitive about things, right? But on the outside of his personality, he was always gregarious and ingratiating, right? Vince Carter. Even historically, because I know y'all gonna make the point that in order to win, you have to be an a-hole, and you don't. Magic Johnson was not like that. He was a smiling, fun-loving guy, right? Now, he got that coach fired, though. He did get that coach fired. Like, yo, I can't play this type of style. You know what I mean? And people would say, oh, LeBron got some coaches fired, too. But, like, I'm talking about amongst teammates, amongst the everyday man. Magic Johnson was a fun-loving person. He wasn't no a-hole. Tim Duncan, another person, was not an a-hole. And maybe y'all gonna say he didn't have to be that because Greg Popovich could be like that. Y'all know y'all probably gonna say that, but he wasn't. Tim Duncan wasn't like that, and he could win. He won 5 chips without being an a-hole. You know what I mean? So like that personality trait, it never meshed well with me. And I know a lot of y'all feel like you gotta be a warrior out here in the streets. Listen, man. You could be a general without being like talking down to people, telling them you don't have enough accolades to speak to me. That's just not something I would never say to nobody. I've never been that type of person. You feel what I'm saying? And I'm from the South Side of Chicago, Illinois, gangland. I was living in gangland my whole life till I was 18, and I've never been that person. You know what I mean? And I act completely different this is a very aggressive city. Very. Chicago, Illinois, aggression is on both of people's shoulders. On their chest and on their shoulder, aggression, it is worn like a damn fitted cap or a winter coat in Chicago. And my personality was never outwardly aggressive and like a-hole-ish. I was never like that. Now, if you want to go there, you want to be disrespectful, then I can get like that. But that wasn't me from the onset. And Kobe and Mike were both a-hole type of people. That's why even if I was like watching Michael Jordan era collectively, I wouldn't have gravitated probably towards Mike's personality. I would have been happy we would have been winning. But yeah, it's like I wouldn't have gravitated to the personality like that. I probably like my cousin. My cousin loved Scotty. And Scotty got his ways too. But for sure, but Mike was doing stuff that was just like crazy. Like, crazy, like almost like bullying type. And I've never been a bully. So yeah, I think the personality is what kind of like drove me. Like I didn't gravitate to Kobe Bryant like everybody else did. I just never did. And then when I started thinking about even personalities in interviews, Allen Iverson seemed like a man that was of the fray. Mike and Kobe kind of had a personality that was just, it was just very, very different. They were not social, they were not endearing people. And then playing style. I always liked. It's so funny. Like I could see the inefficiencies in Kobe Bryant's game. Even though Allen Iverson was not an efficient player either, I think I loved AI again because of the personality he had, that amazing handle he had, and I liked the story of the little man. The little man going up in the trees against the Giants, no matter what. Him taking that team to the finals and winning that first game against the Lakers when the Lakers damn near ran the table in the dang on playoffs. They almost went undefeated in the playoffs. I think that's the only game they lost the entire playoffs. They swept everybody else. You know what I mean? They were that dominant. So yeah, I think AI wasn't efficient either, but I think what made up for it was the personality, his playing style, and the handle, the flashiness. I think I like that. And again, he seemed like a person that was of the common man that I grew up every day with. Kobe was not of the common everyday man. And again, the personality was just a lot different. So I guess the inefficiencies would glare to me. Maybe because I already was like off put by the personality in a way. Yeah, so, and Kobe is an all-time great, Pantheon great, dynamic player who could, again, he really was a prolific scorer, prolific. But then I noticed too at times, he had a tendency, sometimes he could kind of shoot you out of games at times. He could shoot you into games and shoot you out of them. Allen Iverson could do that too at times too, but again, it seemed to be more glaring with Kobe at times, and that's why in 2007, was it 07 or 06? When they was in the playoffs, I believe it was 07. It might have been 06, 07. 06, I think, 06. 06, they playing against the Phoenix Suns. Now they were up 3-1. Phoenix came back. And during them games, the media like, yo, Kobe's shooting too much at times. Too much. And it's kind of shooting them out of games at times. And Kobe got mad that they said that, and he stopped shooting in the game 7 of that game 7 of the close, like of a closeout, not game 7. Game 7 of the series, right? It's the closeout game. He stopped shooting because he was mad that the media said that, they said I shoot too much, which is childish to me. But anyway, he stopped shooting, but I'm saying that to say the media noticed some things that I would notice too. Even as great as he was, as dynamic as he was, because I'm not taking away his greatness, they can't be disputed. I would see that, sometimes he could shoot you in the games or shoot you out of them. But I think it was more glaring to me because I already was like, his personality was off-putting to me as a kid who was not an a-hole. You feel me? Like, and so, I just, I guess I always had a different type of, even in my leadership, my stuff was just different. You know what I'm saying? Moms wasn't going to disrespect me, but I just never was coming off like disrespectful to people in that type of way. So I think that's probably why I did not gravitate to Kobe. I always respected his game, though. I always gave him his process game, but my favorite player on them Lakers teams was Shaquille O'Neal by far. By far it was. And Big Diesel was the most dominant force during the first 3 championships, and he was a dog. So it was easy to gravitate to Shaq. His personality, like I said, he was so fun-loving. He was in the movies and everything. He was on every commercial back then. But then on the court, he was a specimen. Nobody could stop him. The only way to stop Shaq was to foul him and take him to the free throw line and miss free throws. And Not like at that time, bro. Almost every big man was horrible at shooting free throws. Nearly almost all of them was terrible at shooting free throws. You know what I mean? So nobody really like was like it wasn't really. I mean, when you look back on it, you like, damn, Shaq should have made some free throws, but like it wasn't really like a big of a knock on him at that time. Even though you could develop a strategy to take him out the game as far as with the free throws, but yeah, everybody was terrible at free throw shooting. A lot of the big men, I would say. But yeah, and that's why I really didn't really take to Kobe like that. I always appreciated his game, though. Always appreciated his game. So it was certain guys that I really gravitated to, and that's why I like LeBron James, because he was a guy that, like I said, put his friends in position, put his friends on. His friend, Rich Paul, is his agent and the biggest agent in basketball right now. They started their own company, put him in position to get millions. He just always seemed like a fun and loving, endearing person. Probably because of his childhood, him being an only child and bouncing around from home to home, on couch to couch with his mom, sometimes without his mom. So he was much more endearing. I gravitated to Bron, the young dude coming up trying to go against the old heads that don't like him. Because his personality, I like that.